Okay, so I'm going to show you just it's a little quick tutorial tip here on how to use how I use the Shrinkwrap modifier. Okay, what I've created essentially is I've created a cylinder. Let me render this out so you can kind of see what I've done. I've created a cylinder, which is what the decal here is going to be shrink wrapped against, and then the decal is just basically a plane that I UV unwrapped to project from view, and then I just use an image that I got offline of a rescue arrow. Okay, so there are a couple of things we're going to do here. The first thing I want to do is actually I'll point this out too. I've actually created some geometry on this so that it actually, when we do the shrink wrap, it'll bend and form a little bit more to the cylinder. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to go to our modifiers tab over here, and under the deform tab you'll see shrink wrap. So we're going to click on that. Okay, and then the target is going to be the cylinder because it's the only other thing that I haven't seen, and you can see already it's already set itself against it. Okay, now if I render this out, you can see it's not quite right. So what we want to do is we have to actually change some of the settings here in order for it to work a little bit better. Okay, you can just do the offset, and you can offset it by 0.1. Generally speaking, it's you can't get much lower than that. If you do 0.005, let's try 0.0075. Basically, it's essentially the same as 0.1, right? And it actually has a little bit of distortion happening, which I don't really like very much. But we're going to do 0.010 just for argument's sake. Anyway, you can get it lower. I'm sure you can. There's ways of modifying that. You can actually set it for project as well, and then if you grab it along the Z, it'll kind of fold a little bit better along those lines, and then you'll have to do like 0.02, but it doesn't. There's no distortions left in it, which is kind of nice, right? We'll click both negative and positive there. This seems to work better for it, and then front. Okay. Again, if I were to grab it along the Z again, it would just jump from one side to the other after I pass the midpoint of the cylinder. So anyway, that's where we are. So that's basically how I have this all set up. What I'm going to do now is I want to change this so that you can't see any of the white, and in order to do that, what I'm going to do is come down here to my node editor. Sorry, I can't speak English today. Anyway, and I have it just set for a diffuse. Okay, what I want to do is I actually want to change this. I want to change it so that it's got a little bit of a gloss to it. So I'm actually going to hit Shift A to input a shader, and I'm going to use a mix shader here. And then I'm going to hit Shift A again, shader, glossy. Okay, so if I combine those two together, we get a gloss that's on top of it. I'm just going to attach the texture to that so that it stays nice and strong, but we still have that glossy kind of effect there, right? Now, what I want to do is I want to add a transparent shader to this too, okay? Because I want to actually make all of it transparent so that the color of the cylinder comes through from behind it, okay? So I'm going to hit Shift A. I'll add the transparent shader, okay? Now, in order for me to connect this to the surface, essentially, is what I'm trying to connect it to, I need to add another mix shader. So I'm going to add a mix shader in here, right there. Let's move that down to the bottom. And then I'm going to add the transparent shader in. Now it's going to, you can see, basically, essentially nothing really happened. First shader is going to be set to 1, second shader is going to be set to 0, and you can see it is gone. It is completely transparent. But if I were to take the texture and plug it into the transparent shader, it brings that back. So now I don't have any of the white, all I have is the black and the yellow. Okay, that's essentially how that works. Really simple, really straightforward. This is really a really quick tutorial, nothing fancy. But I hope it helps, and thanks for watching.